Hello my dear students. So in my previous class I started explaining about domestic chemicals. So this is a elective paper, unit 2, chapter 2.1. So let us continue with the rest of the things in this chapter. Dishwashers. So dishwashers are detergent in the form of gel or liquid or powder used for cleansing dishes including spoons and glass, either manually, that means washed by hand, or in a dishwasher. Dishwashers are called scrounging powders. They contain abrasive in addition to soap. So abrasives like borax, fine sand powder, they provide the roughness to clean the dishes. And sodium carbonate and sodium phosphate, they improve the quality of dishwashers and also make it cheap. Dishwashers detergents are strongly alkaline, that means so they are basic in nature. For example of dishwashers are Fairy, Nature Clean, BioClean dishwasher liquid, Exo soap and liquid, etc. What are the constituents in dishwashers? So we will find anti-foaming agents, and these anti-foaming agents are used to help washing, and perfumes will be added. So additives to slow down the removal of glaze and patterns from glazed ceramics, and gelling agents will be there. So gelling agents, they will be either in liquid or gel based detergents, and sand in expensive powder detergents. Simple dishwashers detergents in expensive powders may contain sand or sand like materials which may harm the dishes and the dishwasher. Powdered detergents are more likely to cause fading on china patterns. And at last, so rinse aid will be there. So this rinse aid, sometimes called rinse agent, contains surfactants and helps to prevent droplet formation so that water drains from the surfaces in thin sheets rather than forming droplets. The benefits of using it are that it prevents spotting on glassware. So what does it mean? Spotting means, so spotting is caused by droplets of water drying and leaving behind dissolved limescale minerals, and can also improve drying performance as there is less water remaining to be dried. A thinner sheet of water also has a much larger surface or area than a droplet of the same volume, which increases the likelihood of water molecules in evaporating. So these are the main constituents which we are going to find in a dishwasher. So next topic is drain cleaners. So the definition of drain cleaners goes like this. A drain cleaner is a chemical product that unblocks sewage pipes or clogged wastewater drains, like a clogged single drain such as a sink, toilet, tub or shower drain. For example, Drano Max Gel Drain Cleaner, BioClean Drain Cleaner, Green Gobbler Drain Cleaner, and baking soda. Okay, so baking soda, that is sodium bicarbonate, is poured into a drain, followed by vinegar, that is acetic acid, for rain openings to clear soap and hair clogs. So these are called drain cleaners. Chemical drain cleaners fall into three main categories. So they are acids, caustics and oxidizers. So let us see what are these three one by one. Acidic drain cleaners. So acidic drain cleaners commonly contain a high concentration of sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid in liquid form. So that is why the name acidic drain cleaners. So here high concentrated sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid is used. Acid hydrolysis is the process of breaking down larger molecules into smaller molecules by adding acid and water to a substance. Next is caustic drain cleaners. Caustic drain cleaners contain sodium hydroxide, commonly known as lye or caustic soda. They tend to come in a solid form. Caustic drain cleaners begin to work when aluminum reacts with sodium hydroxide and water to produce a hydrogen gas. The gas causes a fizzing or bubbling reaction which helps to dislodge and break up fats and greases. And the third drain cleaner is oxidizing drain cleaners. So oxidizing drain cleaners contain chemicals such as sodium hypochlorite, that is bleach, hydrogen peroxide or nitrates. They work by a process of oxidation, so that is why the name oxidizing drain cleaners. Oxidizing drain cleaners are found useful in household cleaning. So now let us see what is meant by bleaching powder. We all have heard it, we all have used it. So it is also a domestic chemical. So the chemical name of bleaching powder is calcium hypochlorite or calcium oxychloride or the chloride of lime or the calcium salt of hypochlorous acid, and it has a chemical formula of CaClO twice and is commonly referred as bleaching powder. Calcium hypochlorite is an inorganic compound with a chemical formula, as I said just now, CaClO twice. It is an ionic compound that is made up of calcium cation, that is Ca2 plus, and two hypochlorite anions, that is ClO minus. So now let us understand the chemical properties of bleaching powder. Bleaching powder is a white powder that decomposes on contact with water and has the characteristic odor of gaseous chlorine. Bleaching powder acts as a strong base since it readily accepts H+. When dissolved in water, the hypochlorite ion, that is anion, accepts a proton from water, liberating an OH minus ion. So this is the reaction which I am speaking about. So when bleaching powder is dissolved in water, so the hypochlorite anion, that is ClO minus anion, so it accepts a proton from water, so it is going to liberate a OH minus ion. Bleaching powder is also a powerful oxidizing agent since it can readily accept an electron. Calcium hypochlorite reacts with hydrochloric acid. Okay, so this is the calcium hypochlorite. It reacts with hydrochloric acid, yielding calcium chloride. Okay, calcium chloride, water and chlorine gas is evolved. And industrial production of calcium hypochlorite is done like this. On an industrial scale, calcium hypochlorite is usually produced from the chemical reaction between gaseous chlorine and calcium hydroxide. So this is calcium hydroxide and this is gaseous chlorine. And the chemical reaction between calcium hydroxide and chlorine gas yields calcium hypochlorite, calcium chloride and water as the products. So these are the chemical properties of bleaching powder. So now let us see what are the uses of calcium hypochlorite. So calcium hypochlorite is used as a disinfectant to disinfect large volumes of water to make it safe to drink, that is potable water. So usually it is used in drinking water to purify or to disinfect the large volumes of water to make it safe to drink. So we are going to use calcium hypochlorite. And calcium hypochlorite is widely used in swimming pools to sanitize the water body and destroy the germs present in it. The compound can be used to disinfect both wastewater. It is a good oxidizing agent, as I said. This compound is quite useful in the field of organic chemistry and used as an oxidizer in many industries. Used to obtain fragmented aldehydes, carboxylic acids by cleaving the bonds in glycols and ketoacids. And it is also used in the haloform reaction to yield chloroform. It is used as bleaching to cleaning stains on the sinks or countertop. It is used for bleaching dirty clothes in the laundry, as a bleaching agent for cotton and linen in the textile industries. Dry bleaching powder is used as commercial bleach for wood pulp, textiles, oils and soaps, and in laundry as a decolorizer and disinfectant. So these are some of the uses of calcium hypochlorite. So next is toothpaste. So we all are familiar with toothpaste, we use it. So this is also one of the domestic chemical. So let us understand what is it and what are some examples and what are the chemical composition of a toothpaste and rest of the things. Toothpaste is a paste or a gel dentifrice used with the toothbrush to clean and maintain the aesthetics and health of teeth. Toothpaste is used to promote oral hygiene. For example, Babul, Promise, Colgate, Close-Up, Dabur, Sensodyne, Pepsodent, Vico, etc. So these are some of the toothpaste. So now let us see the chemical composition of a toothpaste. Toothpaste generally contain the following components, that is water 20 to 40%, abrasives 50%, surfactants, fluorides and detergents. Additionally, may contain flavorants, antibacterial agents and remineralizers. Salt and sodium bicarbonate, that is baking soda, are among materials that can be substituted for commercial toothpaste. All toothpastes have at least 3 key components, that is abrasives, fluorides and surfactants. So now let us see what are these abrasives. Abrasives are rough materials that aid the toothpaste in scrubbing debris such as plaque, tartar and food particles from teeth. The most well-known toothpaste abrasive is sodium bicarbonate or baking soda. Abrasives also polish teeth so they are shiny and smooth. So no one feels smooth and clean teeth after brushing. So one feels smooth and clean teeth after brushing. These abrasives are rough enough to get the plaque off, but gentle enough to avoid damage to your enamel. Surfactants in toothpaste. Surfactants are the compounds that help toothpaste get nice foamy. This lathering effect has a real purpose. It helps evenly distribute the abrasives and other components such as fluoride. For example, sodium lauryl sulfate, that is SLS, or related surfactants or detergents. SLS is a foaming agent which enables uniform distribution of toothpaste, improving its cleansing power. Next chemical composition which we are going to see in a toothpaste is fluorides. So fluoride is a natural mineral that helps prevent tooth decay and can even remineralize degraded tooth enamel. Fluoride in various forms fights tooth decay or prevent cavities. Fluoride makes the enamel of your teeth harder and more resistant to acid wear. The additional fluoride in toothpaste has beneficial effects on the formation of dental enamel and bones. For example, sodium fluoride is the most common source of fluoride, but stannous fluoride and sodium monofluorophosphate are also used. Other inactive ingredients found in toothpaste include water, which can account for nearly 40% of what's in the tube. If water is removed, we get tooth powder. Important chemicals in toothpaste. To improve the quality of a toothpaste, apart from its key components like abrasive surfactants, water, fluorides, additional ingredients like alcohols or antibacterial agents, whitening substances, flavors, etc. are added. For example, glycerol to keep the paste from drying out. So these are some of the important chemicals other than the key components we are going to find in a toothpaste. So next is about mouthwash. So mouthwash or mouth rinse or oral rinse is a liquid product used to rinse your teeth, gums and mouth. It usually contains an antiseptic to kill harmful bacteria that can live between your teeth and on your tongue. In general, mouthwash liquids reduce bad breath and leave the mouth with a pleasant taste. After brushing one's teeth, time is taken before using mouthwash, otherwise, the mouthwash can wash away the concentrated fluoride in the toothpaste. Rinsing your water or rinsing with water or mouthwash after brushing with fluoride toothpaste can reduce the availability of salivary fluoride. This can lower the anti-cavity, remineralization, and antibacterial effects of fluoride. Fluoridated mouthwash may mitigate this effect or, in high concentration, increase available fluoride. The commonly used chemicals in natural mouthwash are sodium bicarbonate, that is baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate alone or sometimes combined with salt to make a simple homemade mouthwash. Sodium bicarbonate mouthwash is sometimes used to improve viscous saliva and to aid visualization of the oral tissues during examination of the mouth. And next is sodium chloride. Hot salt water is used as a mouthwash because of its antiseptic action. The heat of the solution produces a therapeutic increase in blood flow to the required site in the mouth, promoting healing. Hot salt water mouthwashes also encourage the draining of pus from dental abscesses. Gargling with salt water is said to reduce the symptoms of a sore throat. Edible oils also can be used as mouthwash. In Indian traditional Ayurvedic medicine, edible oils were used as mouthwashes. The technique is called oil swishing or oil pulling. It works by pulling out toxins, thereby reducing inflammation. Oil pulling is capable of improving oral and systemic health, including a benefit in conditions such as headaches, migraines, diabetes mellitus, asthma, as well as whitening teeth. The mouth is rinsed with approximately 1 tablespoon of oil for 10 to 20 minutes, then spat out. So sesame oil, coconut oil and ghee are traditionally used. Nowadays, newer oils like sunflower, mustard seed are also used. So this is all about the mouthwash. So I am going to stop it here, and in my next class, so we will understand about shampoo and conditioners. So what are these shampoo and conditioners, and what are the chemical composition of shampoo and conditioners? Thank you, dear students.